You could pay $4,000 to $8,000 for a slipping transmission, or you could fix it in 10 minutes with a $10 Japanese engineering trick that Honda and Toyota have quietly built into their cars for decades. While most shops never mention it, this drain and fill procedure, rooted in Kaizen, in Japan's strict Shaken inspection, delivers owner-friendly fixes by design. But why does this method work when lifetime fluid and aggressive flushes often fail? The answer starts with what actually happens inside your transmission's fluid. It explains why the fluid is the ultimate weak link and the easiest thing to change. In Japan, the way a car is built and maintained is not left to chance. The idea of Kaizen, continuous improvement, runs through every nut and bolt. For Japanese engineers, making a transmission easy to service is not an afterthought. It is a deliberate choice, refined over decades. That is why so many Hondas and Toyotas come with a simple, accessible drain plug right on the transmission pan. It is not there for convenience alone. It is the result of thousands of small improvements, each one aiming to make ownership less painful and repairs less costly. But there is more behind this than just engineering pride. Every 2 years, Japanese drivers face the Shaken inspection, a mandatory checkup that covers everything from brakes to emissions to the condition of every fluid in the car. The cost is anywhere from 80,000 to 200,000 yen, roughly $800 to $1,600. Fail the test, and your car cannot legally be driven. That is a powerful incentive for automakers. If a fluid looks dirty or the transmission feels off, the car risks getting flagged. So manufacturers design transmissions that can be serviced quickly and cleanly, often by the owner in a driveway with nothing more than a wrench and a drain pan. Internal memos from Honda in the late 1980s show engineers debating how to make fluid changes so easy that nobody would skip them. The result is a design philosophy where frequent, gentle drain and fill cycles are not just possible, they are encouraged. This approach stands in stark contrast to sealed, lifetime fluid transmissions marketed elsewhere. In Japan, the culture and the law push automakers to make maintenance straightforward and affordable, and that is exactly why the 10-minute drain and fill trick exists. Automatic transmission fluid does more than just keep gears turning smoothly. It is the lifeblood of the system, handling 4 critical jobs at once. First, it generates hydraulic pressure, moving pistons and valves that shift gears with split-second timing. Second, it lubricates metal surfaces, protecting gears and clutch packs from grinding themselves to dust. Third, it carries away heat, pulling excess temperature out of friction zones that would otherwise cook seals and warp plates. The fourth job is perhaps the most overlooked, providing friction modifiers, special chemical additives that fine-tune the grip between clutch plates, making the difference between a crisp shift and a gear that slips under load. But these friction modifiers do not last forever. Lubrication engineers and tribology studies show that around 50,000 to 60,000 miles, the fluid's chemistry starts to break down. The extreme pressure agents, like zinc alkylithiophosphate, are gradually consumed as they protect internal surfaces. Once depleted, the clutches lose their bite, and drivers start to feel a shudder or a delay as the transmission tries to hold a gear. At the same time, heat and oxygen trigger oxidation in the fluid. Acids form, darkening the fluid and leaving behind a sticky varnish. This varnish coats the intricate valve body passages, some as narrow as a human hair, restricting flow and starving the system of the hydraulic pressure it needs. The result is a chain reaction. Pressure drops, clutches slip, and the transmission's internal temperature climbs even higher, accelerating the decline. By the time the fluid is dark and smells burnt, the damage is well underway. That is why, for Honda and Toyota, the philosophy is gentle, frequent fluid exchanges, not just to keep things clean, but to keep the chemistry and hydraulics working in harmony. Honda's official service manuals don't mince words when it comes to transmission care. For decades, their instructions have been clear. Skip the power flush machines and stick to a simple, repeatable drain and fill. The standard procedure calls for 3 full cycles. Each one starts with removing the drain plug. No fancy tools, just a wrench and a drain pan. About 3 quarts of old fluid pour out and are replaced with fresh Honda-specified automatic transmission fluid, often abbreviated ATF DW1. After each refill, the car needs to be driven for at least 6 miles. letting the new fluid mix and circulate through every clutch pack and valve body. Then it is back to the driveway for the next round. This method swaps out most of the old fluid over 3 cycles, gently diluting the degraded additives and acids without shocking the system or dislodging debris that could clog the narrow passages inside the transmission. Toyota service manuals echo the same rhythm. For their Aisin 6-speed automatics, the instructions match Honda's almost step-for-step, drain, refill, drive 10 kilometers, repeat twice more. Both automakers draw a hard line against power flush devices, warning that high-pressure machines can force debris into sensitive hydraulic circuits and strip away the very friction modifiers that transmissions rely on. Warranty coverage is tied to following these steps, and damage from unauthorized flushes is not covered. This is not just a suggestion, it is the playbook the factory expects owners and dealers to follow, designed for maximum reliability and minimum risk. 3 additives stand out in the crowded world of transmission fixes, each taking a different approach and each backed by real results. Lucas Transmission Fix combines friction modifiers, viscosity boosters, and seal conditioners. The friction modifiers help worn clutch packs regain grip, while viscosity boosters thicken degraded ATF. But it is the seal conditioners that make the difference, soaking into hardened rubber and reviving tired seals. In one case, a 2003 Crown Victoria with 112,000 miles and severe slip avoided a $2,500 rebuild. The owner poured in a $10 bottle of Lucas and saw clutch torque rise by 23%, squeezing out another 38,000 miles before retirement. The full story still circulates on the Ford Owners Club forum. Lubegard Instant Shudder Fix takes inspiration from history. Its synthetic liquid wax ester mimics sperm whale oil, once prized for its lubricity in ATF until 1972. Lubegard forms a micro-thin film on metal, cutting shudder and wear. 8 Toyota and Lexus technical bulletins officially recommend it for torque converter shudder, with fleet trials showing a 40% drop in warranty claims after use. Seafoam TransTune works as a petroleum solvent, clearing varnish and sludge from valve bodies. Independent tests found a 30% boost in flow rate after one treatment, restoring pressure and shift quality. When the issue is sticky valves or tired seals, these low-cost bottles can buy months or years of extra life. Not every slipping transmission can be rescued by a bottle of additive or a fluid change. Sometimes the damage inside is simply too far gone. Mechanics know the warning signs the moment the pan comes off. If the fluid pours out black and smells like burnt toast, or if sunlight catches a metallic shimmer, tiny flakes of clutch material or gear teeth, that is the transmission waving a white flag. These are not just cosmetic issues. Burnt odor signals that friction surfaces have overheated to the point of charring, while metallic sparkle points to hard parts grinding themselves to dust. In these cases, friction modifiers or seal conditioners cannot rebuild what has already been destroyed. No amount of Lucas, Lubegard, or Seafoam will restore clutch packs that have burned through their friction lining, or reverse the scoring on steel drums. Even the best additives cannot fix a transmission that has lost hydraulic pressure due to deeply worn seals or failed solenoids. At this stage, the only real fix is a rebuild or replacement. Recognizing these signs early keeps owners from wasting time and money on false hope and steers them toward honest solutions instead of miracle cures. BMW's late 1990s. Lifetime Fluid campaign promised owners they would never need to touch their transmissions. But the real experts, like ZF, the German firm that actually builds those gearboxes, publish bulletins calling for fluid changes at 50,000 miles. That gap between marketing and engineering is not unique to Europe. Honda's own chemistry tells a similar story. Their automatic transmission fluid, DW1, carries about 300 to 400 parts per million of zinc, almost double what you will find in generic synthetics. That extra zinc is not an accident, it is there to protect clutch packs under high load, especially in V6 models. When Honda tried a lower zinc formula in the early 2000s, failures spiked in Odysseys and Pilots, and service bulletins quickly reversed course. The myth that old fluid should never be changed lingers on forums, but it is rooted in fear, not fact. ZF's own documents warn that neglecting fluid changes accelerates wear and kills torque capacity. Meanwhile, real-world proof keeps surfacing. In early 2025, a TikTok mechanic posted a video showing an $11,150 dealer quote for a Honda Accord transmission replacement. After a 3-cycle drain and fill with DW1 and a shot of Lubigard, the car ran perfectly. That video hit 1.2 million views in weeks. Stories like these do not just go viral, they drive home the point. Proactive, honest maintenance beats hype every time. Right now, dealerships still quote $8,000 for what may be fixed with a $10 bottle and a drain plug Honda engineered for your driveway. As friction modifiers quietly burn away in varnish clogs passages, Kaizen's small steps offer real-world savings. If you know where to look, share your experience below.